Shipmate, you get the salute.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming in that way. That warmed my heart, man. Thank you.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get back to my brother Sneed.
Mm-hmm.
I think most between the words most equipped score and having a bag. I think it's when you think about the most equipped, a wide range of efficient, reliable ways to score. When I think of the bag, I think of, your dribbling, your flashy, the creative moves that you do to get your shot. So I kind of see a difference in those.
I'm an artist.
Now, even though that damn Paul Pierce is a Celtic, I'm going to have to give it to him on this one.
Okay.
And the reason being is this. If we look at his game before the big three, he was lighting people up.
Mm-hmm. He was.
So so before he had the step back three, before James Harden, like you said, came up with it, he didn't travel. He had everything in there. But you also have to look, he also has to sacrifice his game for a pure shooter in Ray Allen. Then KG had to get the ball. Then you had the other guy. So I think he has a legitimate point, but I think he also had to make those sacrifices for the betterment of the team.
Yeah. No disagreement. I see it.
Yeah.
I like the
That's kind of where I
was expecting to push back. Not this time, Chief.
I didn't have anything.
Not this time, Chief. No, I agree, though. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast. We should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us a like, leave us a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. Make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the content we're delivering you, make sure you hit that join button. There's going to be exclusive content here just for you.
We start off with the green, but we're going to end with the best.
Correct. Yes.
Let's go.
Correct. I'm not going to argue with that. Out of those two, we know who is superior. Okay, so
without
yeah, no doubt. There's been a lot of talk in the NBA, and these kind of topics overlap a little bit. So we heard Tracy McGrady saying some things, and we'll get into that later. But more recently, we heard Kevin Durant on LeBron James's Mind the Game podcast, Mind Games podcast, Cheat the Game podcast. Shout out Uncommon Sense. But we heard him, Kevin Durant. He was a visitor on the LeBron James podcast with Steve Nash, and LeBron had some interesting commentary to make, basically saying that Kevin Durant was the most equipped scorer in NBA history, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And this is not about whether I agree with that or not. But I did think it was very interesting interesting that he would say that. So first, before we even get into Paul Pierce, man, what's your take on him saying that Kevin Durant is the most equipped scorer in NBA history?
I was looking at this podcast. It was very interesting to have Kevin Durant up on the show. So I actually did see this episode. And under the context of what LeBron was saying, he did mention efficiency. He mentioned him being 7 foot. He mentioned, it's just being one of the most unguardable players at his position and being able to score at a high level. Right. I really had no problem with it. I definitely think KD is definitely one of, if not the purest scorer. Because when you look at it from the efficiency standpoint, from the 3-point line, multiple time 50 40 90 player. And it's funny, he was talking to Steve Nash.
I think he made it twice, 50 40 90.
Twice. And I believe he was talking to Steve Nash, who did it like 4 times or something like that, who was one short during the Lakers season. and he actually discussed that on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at KD, man, KD in his purest form, man,
mm-hmm.
even coming off of Achilles injury, looked better, right? Like, how do you get better after an Achilles injury? That's just to show that the man's scoring ability just can't be stopped. It's not something that an injury won't stop unless it's like to his upper body, a torso, or something like that. That's just going to affect or alter the shot. From the peak of where he could shoot it, it's untouchable. He can go in the post. He can drive in the lane. He can get to the free throw line. He can pull up from 35. He can pull up from 15 with the same touch. It's just the touch of the basketball when it's in Kevin Durant's hands. I can see why LeBron James would make such a statement.
So do you think maybe it was a little hyperbolic due to the fact that one, obviously LeBron knows that he got done up by Kevin Durant on multiple occasions. And even beyond that, Kevin Durant is sitting there next to him on the show, right? So he's gonna give him a little bit of extra. You know what I mean?
Well, you also got to look at it as he's been.
It's completely untrue either. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, you got to look at it as they played at the same time. Like LeBron James literally watched him come up in the league because Bron's drafted in 03. I believe Kevin Durant was 05, 06 or something like that.
Right around there. Yeah,
somewhere around there. So, LeBron got to witness this kid from Texas. The man came in as a freshman at Texas and averaged 30? Like 25? So even 25, he got busy in Texas. And then he comes straight into the league and, he gets busy with the Seattle Supersonics at the time. And, it just showed his prolific scoring at that point. So, I would say it's more genuine. You say he got done up, but you could say also Kevin Durant got done up by LeBron James. He did average 40 for the entire series. But I think you're more so saying that Kevin Durant just put the bullet in his eye at the top of the key in back-to-back. I think in back-to-back. Back-to-back series. But other than that, KD wasn't stopping Bron either. Bron, if you want to level it, actually KD got the worst of that load. If you want to look at the finals. Pause. Yeah, that was one. Yeah, that was.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, write that down. We're not saying that anymore. Nobody's taking nobody's loads.
KD is the most. So I'm always going to go back to this, right? Is KD an all-time elite scorer? Yes, but I always get the whole, you just a hater, blah blah. Okay, cool. But I'm always going to go back to the simple point that the majority of these guys who are elite scorers in today's NBA, the rules and the way the game is played has so much to do with it. And when it comes to KD specifically, I will keep going back to the hell that Ime Udoka and his schemes gave Kevin Durant a few years ago when he was in Brooklyn, when he played against the Celtics in the playoffs. I will never, ever get past that because for all of the hype they give KD, he had one good game in that series, that 4-game sweep. Other than that, he got completely locked up. And so I say it to say that if that could happen in this era, just because somebody coached up good defense, what happens if you put this guy who's supposed to be an all-time elite scorer back in the day where guys can bump you, guys are more physical with you, and the defensive coaching was so far superior, and the defenders' hands were not handcuffed, right? The defenders were not handcuffed. Would Kevin Durant be doing what we've seen him do for the last, 15 years now, however long it is? So this is not me. Yeah, long time. But this is not me trying to denigrate KD, take shots at KD. Yes, he's an elite all-time scorer just because of what he's been able to do for a very long time, being a 3-level guy, all of that. But if we have to take into account what we saw with our own eyes. Yes, Chief, you're absolutely right. Yes, that's true. Yep. And, that's a guy who led the league in scoring multiple times. That's a guy who helped your Lakers to a championship in Magic's rookie year. Matter of fact, I think he won 2 with the Lakers. Damn you, McAdoo! No, but it.
Why in the hell did we go there?
Salam, Steve. No, but in all seriousness, yes, Bob McAdoo absolutely was KD before KD. That's a great analogy, Chief. That's an analogy that a lot of people aren't ready for. But the point is,
we're ready for it. But I'll get you. I'll let you slide. Go ahead.
Whoa. Is Kevin Durant an all-time great scorer? Yes, but the most equipped, I don't know about that. So anyway, that's not even the debate. What's interesting here is Paul Pierce, my guy, second all-time on the Celtics scoring list. This is a guy that he had some what's the word I want to use? He had some interesting thoughts on that comment, and we'll get to that in a second here. My bad, I didn't upload the B-roll. Anyway, he
I was wondering why you were stalling. I'm like, why are you stalling on this?
Yeah, because I'm looking like I'm ready to click it, and I'm like, oops, didn't upload it. So let's okay, here we go. So we can just take a look at just a quick couple of clips of Paul Pierce here doing his thing.
Big time play by a big time player. 11 points in the fourth quarter for Pierce. 32 for the game, including the game winner. And the Boston Celtics get the road win. A heartbreaking, crushing loss.
So that's just one. Actually, I had cut a longer one. Looks like I had a little issue there. But regardless, the point is Paul Pierce made a lot of great shots in his career. Paul Pierce is a guy who had he had the entire package pause in his offensive repertoire, right? This is a guy that, and we'll hear him talk about it. This is a guy, and even Transformer may have to admit this, he could put it on the floor, go to the rim, and boom on you. He could get it in the low block and score in the post. He could score easily in the mid-range. He could score all the way out to three. And I had forgotten he was a three-point champion until he mentioned that. Like,
yeah, me too. That was a good one.
Right. Paul Pierce got a lot to his name in his offensive toolkit. And so, he comes out and he had some interesting commentary. So we'll go ahead and we'll play that. So let's check it out. If this wants to start.
I was pretty equipped. When I think about it, I'm just saying, like,
Could you pull up from the elbow?
I need to be in this conversation.
Could you pull up from the elbow?
I got all
knock
that.
down the three?
All that.
Could you back him down?
Contest champ.
Could you turn around?
All of that. Post up.
Could you dunk?
All of that.
All of that.
Shoot, then I must have been one of the most equipped. Look, here we go. Boom. Who is this? I'm to the rack.
Okay.
Three people.
I ain't got to show a Laker highlight, but I get it.
Look.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty.
This is equipped. Oh, you want game winners? Wop, wop, wop.
He's got a bunch of those.
Like, I'm trying to figure out
what was your efficiency?
Yeah, like, I think, when he talking about his efficiency, because I shot more bad shots than Kevin.
Yeah, you was just hot dogging. You wasn't as clean.
No, I shot more bad shots. But Kevin, because he's 7 feet, he can get his shot off on anybody. He don't really see defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's why he's so efficient. There's nobody at his height on the perimeter. He changed the way we look at perimeter. He pretty much changed the game on the perimeter. Like being a 7'2" guard, you know what I'm saying? That's like, come on, the biggest 2 guard when I came in was like 6'5", 6'6".
Dirk was what, a 3?
Dirk was a 4, man.
Was he a 4?
Yeah, he's 7. He playing center. He's a center playing at the point guard, 2 guard. You know what I'm saying? So all his matchups and the way he shoot the ball and get to the ball, he efficient with it. So I can see why LeBron would say that. But shoot, you got to put me in that talk when we talk about most equipped scorers now. Come on, Bron.
You got to put
probably the best pure scorer ever in the history of the game.
Okay.
History.
There you go. You see how he did that?
They want to use history.
That's what I'm saying. So
when we just talk about pure score, I'm in that list.
So I thought that was interesting, right? I do think he's in that list. He's not a name that readily comes up in the list. You know what Pierce seems to be to me is like a modern day. Well, I guess he's not modern day, right? But when he played a forward version of Bernard King, right?
Okay.
Take you in the post. Like we said, deadly in the mid-range, could put it on the floor, could boom on you, could shoot the 3, really step out, and really had it all in his offensive repertoire. And I like that. I like that a lot. And it's interesting that he made the point of saying, like, yo, I need to be in this discussion. Because when he was at his best, there weren't a lot of guys who were better than him. Now, did his best last as long as these guys? No, but he also played, 1998 through 2015. So he played his prime. 2017. Yeah, he played a long time. His prime was more so during the time when the league was more physical, the defense was more physical, the pace of play was slower. I think I looked it up. I would take, his best years between 1998 as a rookie to about 2012, right? And during that time frame, I think the NBA was averaging roughly like 98 to 101 points per game. So it wasn't the high flying, tons of scoring NBA that we see now. Now, that's not to take a shot, and you'll hear him say in the next clip, one of the advantages he has over Kevin Durant is that he can take you into the post. Like, rarely do you see KG take you into the post. Why? Because he lacks the strength in the lower body to get position and hold position, right? And of course, most teams don't really play out of the post anymore anyway. But with KD's ability to shoot over the top, it should be easy for him to turn over each shoulder and get a high percentage shot in the post. But guys don't want to do that, right? So that's something that I thought about. So what did you think about what KG Paul Pierce had to say just now about how he feels that he should be kind of ranked or in that discussion of the greatest pure scorers?
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be involved,
right?
But you're not.
Okay,
you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Top 5, not even there. So I'm not even going to talk about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top 5 pure scorers, Paul Pierce doesn't come up.
Okay,
he's not. You're gonna have Kevin Durant in this conversation. You're gonna have Jordan in this conversation. We're gonna have Kobe in this conversation. People are gonna have Bird in this conversation. When you want to talk about pure scoring, he's not going to be mentioned in nobody's top 5 unless you're a Boston Celtics lover.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I get it, right? Dominant 101 player. Pierce was a good defender. What?
Nino says
KD 10 times better in the post
than Paul Pierce. Okay,
maybe 5 times, not 10, but
no, not better in the post at all. He's not strong enough. But go ahead.
Definitely more efficient in the post than Paul Pierce. That's the thing that's not being talked about the most. His efficiency is what elevates his level of pure scorer. Pure
real quick
is efficient. Like
when
we got pure white stuff
and
the non-cut white stuff. Which one is pure?
When we talk about efficiency, are we only talking about field goal percentage? Because that's far from the only measure of efficiency.
Oh, we're talking field goal percentage. The fact that he doesn't take a lot of shots to get his points.
Mm-hmm. But less dribbling and more efficient actual movements on the floor, right? Real quick, 25 in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Can we get 25 likes, y'all? Can we get 25 likes? And if you haven't already, can we get those subscribes clicked as well? But when we say efficiency, it's not just about, and Man Down Sports does a fantastic breakdown of this. And side note, LeBron James actually the week prior actually talked about how efficiency is not just field goal percentage, but then he goes back to efficiency being field goal percentage in this episode when he's dealing with Kevin Durant. Just another example of LeBron not knowing what he's talking about, but that's not the point here. That's neither here nor there.
That's number 2. Got it.
I'm just saying, man, tell it how it is.
Number 2.
But yeah, go ahead, Transfer. You can tally it up.
You were talking.
Oh, okay. But no.
Yeah, you were talking.
But no, I was just saying that it's not we got to stop looking at efficiency just as field goal percentage. And Paul Pierce did say he took many more bad shots than Kevin Durant. And that's true. Because as we mentioned, at 7 feet, Kevin Durant can get off much easier shots because he can see over most defenses, like Dirk, right? But it's funny that Paul Pierce says that because I remember saying years ago, well before this podcast started, in other sports debates with guys, saying that Paul Pierce is one of the best tough shot makers I've ever seen. Him, Kobe, obviously Mike. There are some dudes who are elite tough shot makers, and I believe that Paul Pierce is one of those guys. He is really, really. When we look at it, at his best, he is one of the better pure scorers, right? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that's going to tell you James Harden is a better pure scorer than Paul Pierce. Are you insane? He put up bigger numbers. Part of that was his scheme, but better pure scorer? No, absolutely not, right? So when you look at it, right, James Harden was a super volume scorer, right? Shot like tons of threes. During his prime, he was shooting between 10 and 13 threes a game, right?
The top of the key was his baby.
Yes.
He's taking dribble, pull.
Yes. Of course, we know that. And James Harden wasn't efficient at all, right? All that dribbling he was doing, that's not efficient. Yeah. Taking up the bulk of the shot clock. And then also we know the constant traveling on his step back. Paul Pierce was like the second elite step back shooter. First was Bird and then it was Pierce. Coincidence, 2 Celtics. But anyway, Paul Pierce was elite with the step back and he didn't travel doing it, right? He had a vicious, strong jab, a vicious, strong jab step, and then he, get into his step back. But the point is, I loved what he had to say here. Let's go ahead, and what I thought was interesting, Kevin Durant actually responded to that with a tweet the following day on Speak. And then
I didn't see this.
So we're gonna go ahead and play that.
Play the tweet. You're gonna show it.
Pierce.
I don't have the
tweet again. What'd you do this time, Paul?
I'm just speaking facts.
After yesterday, he claimed on the show that he was probably the best pure scorer in NBA history. We were talking about Kevin Durant and LeBron James describing him as the most equipped scorer in NBA history. KD commented on the Speak post with that clip saying, quote, I didn't really see a weakness in Paul's game. I understand where his confidence comes from. Paul?
So I did think that was interesting because, KD is quick to clap back if he disagrees with something, right?
Boy, he got that burn on standby.
You already know. But he did it from his account, though.
Yeah, that's go.
So now we look and we ask, it's interesting that Kevin Durant would say that. So now it does bring up the question, and it makes me think, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on this, because I know that for you, the only Celtic that you really, and truly respect was Larry Legend. But your thoughts on Paul Pierce and KD saying that he didn't see a weakness in his offensive game. Where are you with that?
Who didn't see a weakness in whose offensive game?
KD didn't see a weakness in Paul Pierce's offensive game, so he understands where the confidence comes from.
I mean, you didn't. I mean, when it came to like one-on-one pure basketball, right? Mm-hmm. Dribbling out of double teams, taking game-winning shots and stuff like that. All of that, does go into the effect of having the ability to do so. I mean, that's why I said I get it on why Paul Pierce wants to be mentioned in this conversation. And though granted, he's not even in my top 5 and may not be in a lot of people's top 5. KD gets it. Like, okay, I can get why he would say that because he was, well equipped in all categories. But, like everybody's view of pure score is going to probably be labeled a little bit more differently. I use the term efficiency as in, true shooting percentage, field goal percentage, taking less attempts, averaging the most points. That's I take all of those in the factor because I also put in the factor he led the league in field goal makes without even being top 10 in the field goal attempt category. Like that's incredible to make. Like you have to be a pure scorer to do that. Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's those type of things that I label in there. People are going to put Carmelo in this conversation when you talk about pure score, going to post, off the dribble, post game, lay it up, dunk it on you. Melo could do all that.
Yes.
Melo in New York was a problem. Granted, played zero defense, didn't care.
Yeah.
But you could not leave this man. I believe one of my favorite highlights of Melo is when he's ISOing Zion Williamson and literally didn't even dribble. He's literally just moving his hands, moving his arms, and just making Zion jump all over the place. Yeah. Then he finally just puts it in his eye. Like, you see nothing you could do to me, young fella.
Right.
I'm over here in Portland. I'm not even in my prime, and I'm hitting you with just stuff that you've never seen before. Yeah, easy work, right? Like you're not used to playing this type of defense, but I get it. I do agree with Kevin Durant when he's talking about Paul Pierce. But again, like I said, in my humble opinion, I mean, I just don't have Pierce up there. Pierce likes to do a lot of talking.
He does
about him.
You know what? When you're a great player and a Hall of Famer, and what I always say is this, right? If you are, let's say you're top 5 in scoring among Lakers, right? That's elite company in basketball history. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Right. If you're top 5 in some statistical category, a major statistical category for the Celtics, you're probably in elite company in basketball history. Would you say that's true?
Absolutely.
Right. So Paul Pierce is like top 3 or 4 on everything in the Celtics history. He can talk, and he's a champion.
I'm gonna talk my stuff, right?
Right. He's got the room to talk. Now, do we have to agree with everything he says? No. Right. Yeah. Sometimes does his ego get involved? Yes. Yeah. Right. But when you've done what he's done, you could talk a little bit. So I'm okay with the talk, and him also knowing like, LeBron James, a lot of people think he's the GOAT. A lot of people have the number 2 player all time, but he can look and say, I went toe-to-toe with LeBron, and I handed this dude a lot of work over my time in his, first half of his career before, I got too old, right? And so when he can say that I handed LeBron work, I handed Melo work, I like all the dudes that theoretically he shouldn't be able to be on the same floor with because he's not as good as those guys, to say I gave those dudes work, that's why he feels like he can talk. You feel me?
No. And like I said, that's why I start off, I get it, right? I don't want to give this man no respect at all. I honestly just dislike Pierce.
Well, look, your guys gave him his name.
Yeah, I don't give a damn what they gave him. Okay,
but do you think they gave it to him just to give it to him? Obviously, he went in Staples and earned that. Did he not? Oh, he didn't.
Don't like it. No, don't like it. Me is me. Okay, they may have given him that name. I don't agree with everything they do. Okay,
the Diesel gave him that name.
I don't agree.
And you can write it down. Paul Pierce, the MF and Truth.
Don't care.
There it is.
Shaq says a lot of crazy stuff. So I don't.
But he wasn't wrong on this one. He wasn't wrong on this one.
Pierce was definitely that guy, man. You only get one Celtic, bro.
That's fair.
Just one.
Fair. That's okay. I got
Larry Bird. That's it. Other than that, I don't like Paul Pierce.
I got you, man. That's fair. No, it's all good. It's all good.
I hated him.
What's up, Lake and
Nation? I want to drop 50. Get out of here.
If y'all haven't already, by the way, after this show is over, make sure you go like and subscribe to the Be Ready Sports Podcast. Great show over there. Great show.
Yeah, absolutely. To be ready,
you got to stay ready.
Got to stay ready.
But yeah, Paul Pierce, I don't know if he's disrespected. I just think that, and obviously to be a great player, you got to have, what's that called? Irrational confidence. I think he's got some of that, right? I think he's got some of that. But he also, again, he knows that he gave a lot of dudes work. So let's go ahead and listen to the rest of this clip from Speak.
I'm just saying. No, this is what I said. I told this Darnell. I said, look, you can take all the great scores in NBA history. I can do everything they can do.
This was very interesting how he framed this. I know he had to really think about it. I was like, okay, I didn't see it that way, but check it out.
Scoring wise, at least one thing I'll be better than them at. Like, say, like, who's considered, like, Jordan, right? Jordan probably considered that I'm a better three-point shooter than Jordan. We talk about KD, a lot of time KD is mentioned. And KD, he got a lot. Man, he's tough. But I think if there's one thing I got better than KD is I probably was a better post-up player.
Back to the rim.
But when we talk about KD and the thing that the main thing that LeBron was saying is a separator is his efficiency.
Yeah, the efficiency is it. I'm really referring to the type of ways I can score.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can score in any way possible. Post, pick and roll, mid-range three, off the down screen, off the flare. Back, like, I can score in every single way imaginable.
That's true.
Well, I've never been a scoring champ. I'm really talking about the different ways I can score.
Yeah, of course.
Like, and when you hear them say I had no weaknesses in offense.
None, zero.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I can score in every way
from every spot on the court.
Like, if you wanted the fadeaway post like Kobe and Jordan, I had that in my game. If you want the Durant hezzy pull, T-Mac, I had all of that. The three-point shot off the dribble, not off the spot up, I had all of that. Mid-range, step back from three, step back from two, spot, like all of it.
He did have all that. He did have all that. He makes a great point.
But he's missing one.
What's that?
He said he has everything everybody has. He don't have something Kobe got.
What is that?
We never saw that man throw it off the glass back to himself and take a shot or push it off to the post. We never saw Paul Pierce shooting from behind the backboard in the playoff series against him, by the way.
Right.
I'm messing.
No. You're right. But I think it was really good how he framed it when he said that all the elite scorers,
he has something.
One of them, I can do at least one thing better than them. And I was like, I never even looked at it that way. And that's where I think that the argument that he's trying to make is incomplete, but fair. You see what I'm saying? I totally get it. I totally agree when you say that he's not in your top 5 pure scorers. Okay, that's cool. We're good with that. But I also get it when he says that he is based on what he could do and the completeness of his offensive game. So that's a two things can be true type situation.
Now, I think having different conversations.
Yes.
We're not saying how you could score being the end all be all, right?
I like this here, by the way.
We have to put the efficiency into play. Like he said, like he has the ability to do everything better than all of these players and what they have done. There's a couple of things that got to still go into the pure score conversation. Did you ever lead the league in scoring? No.
And he said he's never been a scoring champ.
Never been a scoring champ.
Interesting. At his absolute peak, when he was at his best, he was a fourth quarter scoring leader multiple times. And to me,
fourth scoring leader. That's more clutch. Big. That's more to the clutch gene than I would say pure scores. But when you're talking about the duration of his entire career, KD's never averaged less than 25 points per game.
Right. And that right there, I was about to go to that point.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the duration of consistent dominant scoring that these other guys do. So
correct. And still doing it again efficiently. It's like it's not dropping. Like where's it going? When is your fall going to happen from how you're shooting the ball? Like you look at the go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I do think that he has efficiency in his game, but not in his shooting percentage, if you get what I'm saying. Paul Pierce didn't waste a lot of dribbles. He didn't, waste a lot of steps. Everything was very quick, concerted, and tight to getting to the rim or getting a shot off. And that also plays to efficiency. Yeah. You want to take some calls on this? I think this was a pretty cool topic.
No. I had one question for you. So we're on the conversation, pure scores. Okay, Paul Pierce is, mentioning himself. I should be mentioned, if not honorably mentioned. Who, in your opinion, is the best pure scorer?
Oh, Michael Jordan. Hands down. Yeah, and the reason I say that, I just point towards obviously the 10 scoring titles, but whatever. I think that he dominated scoring in an era where scoring was so hard to come by. And for me, just looking at the 37 point per game season, doing that while only making 12 threes that entire year, that tells you what he was doing in his scoring, right? Nowadays, when dudes score a lot, they average a lot of 3-point makes, right? And obviously, those are extra points. And I'm not taking shots at them for doing that. That's the game. They're getting those looks. They're knocking them down. So shout outs to them. But to say Michael Jordan averaged 37 points per game in one of the toughest defensive eras and only making 12 3-pointers that whole year, to me, that's undeniable. And then, of course, the 10 scoring titles, undeniable. Easily.
Now, what if I give you the pushback that though he scored 37,
yes,
he wasn't as efficient. And he also
50% doing that though.
But I'm saying because there's two parts to what I'm trying to say.
Sure. Sorry.
He also led the league in field goal attempts 7 times out of those 10 times, if not top 3 out of all 10 scoring titles.
Right.
Where does that play?
So what I'll say is, so the year he was 48% while scoring 37 a game. That's still crazy.
That's still good. That's phenomenal.
Right. Again, in a defensive era. But what I'll say though, and kudos to you for the point of the field goal attempts. But what we got to remember, right? You guys love the field goal percentage as a measure of efficiency. It's not the only one, but part of it. But he didn't drop under 50% for his career until Washington, right? Where and then obviously, you're
looking at totality.
Yes.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
You've got when he was in his peak scoring years, let's see, 51%. That's his rookie year in the league, averaging 28 a game. His second year in the league, he only played the 18 games. He broke his foot. 46%, then 48%, 53%, 53%, 52%, 54%, 52%, 50%, right? This is all in his, in his peak years. So he didn't drop below the 50% marker until, the very end. So yes, he was taking a lot of shots. Now, I think a lot of that was by design, the offense, etc. But he clearly was making a lot of shots. So it would be one thing if he was doing volume scoring like James Harden or Allen Iverson, or to a lower extent Kobe, right? But he was scoring a lot of buckets, shooting a very high percentage. So I think that's different.
Okay.
But I get your pushback though.
And no. I'm just throwing it out there. Pause.
No. It was a legit question. No, I get it. It.
Okay. You got Jordan as top 5. Who's number 2?
Number 2, pure scorer. Are we talking like post merger or what? What are we talking about here? Because that's where it gets funny. Because obviously,
it's hard to separate era. Right? Okay, if you can give me, I'm gonna go by 2 decades. Every 2 decades, that's about 20 years. We're going 20 years. Yeah. So from let's go 2000s to now. Best pure scorer.
Kobe.
KD.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we say pure scorer, are we just looking at the production? Because
let's just go production, efficiency, points, ability, ways to versatility, all of that.
Kobe, KD, LeBron, Melo.
Okay.
Who's that 5th? T-Mac.
Yeah, I'll go T-Mac. You're early. You're early. We're having a conversation. We're still in the middle of a segment.
Hold on. Stay with us, Sneed. Hold on, brother. Sneed couldn't wait. He couldn't wait. Hold on, man. Stay with us. But yeah, so you good with that? You good?
Okay, Kobe. So you get Jordan. No. We're talking 2000 to now. So you say Kobe,
KD,
LeBron.
Right. We cannot ignore his.
Put LeBron there. Okay.
We can't ignore what he's done. I mean, come on. I'm not a LeBron fan, but we cannot ignore it.
Because I also go to your point. I think I have to mute something. You got something going?
No.
I'm getting a lot of feedback now that I'm talking.
Okay, maybe it's because Sneed. Hold on, Sneed. I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna tell you when to call back. All right. I don't know. Maybe it's because whatever. But
check, Mike, check. Okay, it's better now. But no, I say that because one of your biggest gripes is that his versatility isn't there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So why is LeBron in your top 5?
Well, he has to be there just simply because of what he's done. Okay. Right? I mean, 50,000 career points, playoffs and freaking regular season included. You said the last, I guess you said 2000 and up. Like you just can't ignore that level of production. Yeah. Now, and the scoring versatility, the package, the quote unquote bag. That's why he's got to be behind a guy like KD. See what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Right. So
I like Dirk. I like Dirk in that conversation as well. Okay, Dirk is definitely.
I think he's like number 7 all time scoring. Yeah. So
man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's hard to keep Dirk up out of that.
It is hard. I mean, but I go Melo after that and McGrady at 5. But I mean, we can.
I like that though. I like that list.
That list is cool with my 5?
Yeah. I like that list. Okay. I like that list. I arguably want to take Bron out and put Dirk in.
I mean,
but when you look at to your point, when you look at the points, that's hard. That's hard. Right. When you look at how long this man has been dominating and averaging 20, it's just that's inarguable. So I do get it. But me, I'm looking at, like I said, the ways to score, scoring ability, efficiency.
Okay.
A lot of that plays into play. Bron isn't a great free throw shooter. So I also want to put free throws in there. He's not a great free throw shooter. Right. He hasn't been, for the most part of his career, especially early on, a great 3-point shooter. He developed that later on. Yeah. He's recently, in the last 7 to 8 years, developed more of a post shot, not really a post player, but he gets more in the post, and he's been great on his post turnaround. Right. So a lot of his stuff, Bron's been playing so long, you got to break his career up into segments of like how the style that he played. But I do get it. I do get it. Okay. So we went from 2000 to now. So let's go 1980s. The first one is an obvious. The first person is going to be an obvious answer. Of course. But the 80s to the 2000s.
Man, that gets real tough. Man, you should have told me this. I would have prepped this. That gets real tough.
But I like it. It's
on Michael Jordan, a Larry Bird. I don't know if he's number 2. All right, from 2 to 5, it's going to be all over. But Michael,
it don't have to be in order. It don't have to be in order.
Yeah. So obviously, number 1 is Mike. And then from 2 to 5, you're going to have your Larry Bird. You're going to have your Dominique Wilkins. You're going to have your Bernard King. Who would that fourth guy be?
That's 4 already.
Mike, Bird, Dominique, Bernard King. So there would be 4. One more. Yeah, so American Friedman, I would agree on George Gervin, but I would put him in the previous era.
Hakeem paint like George Gervin.
No, Hakeem was a great scorer in terms of the totality of points he put up, but during the 80s to I wouldn't put him up there. Maybe he breaks into that top 10. Be ready, Laker Nation, but I don't know who the fifth guy is. I don't know who the fifth guy is, man. That's tough.
Hakeem, your dream. You got to hit the button now, bro. It's too many people saying it.
Your dream.
No, but I wouldn't put him in the top 5 scorers. That's so tough, man. I don't know who the fifth guy is in that era. So, now you're gonna make me. I have to go back and research that. That's tough.
Ooh, because I'm trying to think of who would be the fifth. Because I'm trying to put the 80s and it's 80s and 90s is what we're thinking about.
Yeah. 80s and 90s.
Drexler.
I mean, I want to say like,
no,
Drexler might be up there. Alex English. There you go, Chief.
Nice. Okay. That's a good one.
Boom. Alex English led the entire decade of the 80s in scoring. Thank you, Chief. This is why we have you here, Chief.
Jesus,
Alex
that's
English,
a good
great call. That's the one. Okay, we got it.
Okay, Troll gives it to Karl Malone.
That's
a good one.
Yeah. I mean, he retired number 2 in scoring, so that's big.
The 90s. I mean,
I'm gonna go Alex English. Karl Malone is the honorable mention.
I like that. I like that.
That's big. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and do it, man. This is good. Let's open up the phone lines, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Y'all know what time it is. Let's get it.
While we waiting on that, man, y'all put in the chat. First of all, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button.
Why do we only have 12 likes in here?
Disrespectful.
31 in the chat, only 12 likes. Please hit that button. It's free.
But light up the chat, man. Light up chat. Give me your top 5 from the 2000s to now and from the 80s to in the 90s. Who's your top 5 scores in both of those double decades?
Right.
Top 5 scores. Don't have to be in order. You can just give me top 5.
Mm-hmm. Sneed, what's going on, brother?
Sneed got what you need.
What up, Bruce? What up, Transformer?
What's
happening? All right, man. We got to do Paul Pierce's his little thing, man, because he's disappointed in all of us. He needs his recognition. I liked Paul Pierce's game. I always thought it was really good.
I did too.
Very complete offensive player, but his defense is really good too.
Underrated.
You know, if you watch his footage, if you watch him play basketball, you'll see moments where he has to defend the other team's best player.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a really good player. I'm not saying he did it the whole game. Anybody who says a player did that the whole game is lying. You can't. It's a transient game. Balls going back and forth. Right. So but Paul Pierce offense, man, he's not wrong. He didn't say anything that was not factually correct.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can verify all those things about his game.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very balanced scorer. Like, he would take what the defense gave him,
mm-hmm.
right? If they packed the paint, he would hang around 15, 17 feet, and he would look to get his shot. He could go left or right.
Mm-hmm.
He could just shoot over a smaller defender. He could
shoot over bigger defenders too.
Smaller defender to the post. Yeah, he could get by bigger defenders. Flat-footed defenders, he cooked them and got by them.
Mm-hmm.
Not just on the feet, but he had a good first step, and then his body to his advantage, right? Being able to finish. You know, he's a strong finisher.
Mm-hmm.
You know, good touch, good free throw shooter. You know, he could knock down the 3. Very reliable. It was always there. Not many off nights. You know, game-winning shots. Like, look, the nuance, the semantics of this. LeBron saying most equipped. Last week, this was the bag, bro. Literally last week, this was the bag. Now all of a sudden, it's most equipped. This is semantics. We're arguing, you know, like if you say a word with a certain pronunciation, like an accent, you know. But that's where we're at. We're recycling discussions because, you know what, he didn't get to say it on the last show, or
mm-hmm.
you know, he trying to make himself sound different than everybody else.
That's what it is. He's always trying to sound smart. That's what it is.
Yeah, but it's this is the bag conversation. Paul Pierce absolutely had a bag. Paul Pierce kept coaches up at night. How am I going to stop this guy? You know, and when he was able to get certain players on his team, it took them to championship territory because he was that good offensively.
Yes.
You know, I remember games where Paul Pierce ripped off like 12, 13, 14, 15 points in a row. You know, I remember like where he was terrorizing my Cavaliers. You know what I mean? And like there's offensive potency, right? Which Pierce has and KD has and LeBron has. These players have offensive potency. When you see them ripping off bucket after bucket after bucket, you know, they get in these zones and they get hot and they're very dangerous all the time, you know? But dude, it's just semantics, man. I like your rankings, by the way, putting those guys in there. I agree with all of it. Okay. I do. I'm kind of disappointed that, you know, if you don't hit a 3-pointer, it means you don't have a bag. If you don't hit a 3-pointer, now you're not a 3-level scorer. Now you're an incomplete player. That's not true.
It's recency bias, and I think it makes you incomplete in this era. I totally get what you're saying.
That's when you're going to have to break it up. That's when you truly have to break it up.
You have a 3-point shot for like how long?
We know. What?
Yeah,
Nino is wild right now. Sorry.
Oh, this is a Laker fan or something? Is that what
we're talking dribbles?
Nino says Pierce didn't have no damn bag. I'm like, okay.
Man, I remember Paul Pierce was like one of the more unstoppable offensive players for at least a decade. Yes. It was like legitimately elite scoring. And you know what? His shots, some of the shots he took were extremely difficult. And I remember thinking to myself, how are you supposed to stop that? It's the same thing we said about Kobe. It's the same thing we say about like some of the shots LeBron hits. You're like, how are you supposed to stop that? Or KD. You're like, how are you supposed to? You can't, if you can't block it, it could still go in.
Right.
Even if you put hands, you know, covering their eyes or whatever else.
Absolutely. No.
He's going by dribbles, Nino. Yeah, I see what Nino said. I figured he was talking about the dribbles. That's why he said that.
Yeah.
I thought a bag was an offensive toolkit. That's what I thought a bag was.
I don't know about the semantics, bro. People get caught up in these labels and these titles and these words, but they end up going in circles and arguing about nothing. Like you're arguing about the same thing last week. You just named it something different. Now you're acting like you're Socrates. You know, it is not you. I mean, look, vocabulary is important because when you use certain vocabulary, it allows you to explain things thoroughly, right?
Yes. Here's the teacher coming out.
It was the bag last week, and now all of a sudden it's most equipped. So yes, Paul Pierce is one of the most equipped players ever playing. Absolutely. If you watch him play hoops, because a lot of people won't go back and watch these guys play. They'll just talk about them. But if you watch Paul Pierce score, it was pretty damn amazing and fun to watch. And I mean, I got to see it firsthand in those playoff games with the Cavs. He was amazing. He was a very quick scorer. Shout out to Paul Pierce. Give him his flowers while he's here, I guess. Right?
No doubt.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
I appreciate the call. Thank you, brother.
You too.
Laker Nation, I see you. Call back, man. We got to make sure we get our number one channel member in here, man. Call back, Laker Nation. Definitely want to hear from you on this. Coach M.A. says George Gervin is the top pure scorer. So I think he had
top. I think he meant A top.
He says the. I think he had 4 scores in the ABA. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering how much his demons affected how good of a player he could have been. But yeah, Ice was the man. Nino, of course you can call in, man. You can call in anytime. Laker Nation, what's good, brother?
What's good? Happy Sunday.
Thank you, man. Same to you. Same to you.
Shout out to my man Transformer.
In the building.
Hey, disclaimer: we almost made a trade on. Almost made a trade. When was it? I think Friday. I had a guest from Beantown talking all this Celtic junk.
You put him out the house?
I literally told him, I said, we're going to do a trade. I'm about to trade you to the Format Podcast for Transformer.
That's funny. That's funny.
It's on the episode. No, you literally said that.
That's funny. Oh,
I
man.
said, we're about to do a trade.
They're about to do a live podcast trade.
Man,
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trade. I'm twerking up for the Celtics.
Who's well?
Man.
I am, but I don't think anyone else is. No, I don't think I'm twerking.
No,
I'm just agreeing with some of what he had to say.
No, I'm talking about him. I said he can come on there and y'all can talk Celtics all day long.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Me and Transformer with it. Then Transformer with the Laker talk.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna watch if you do that. But anyway, go ahead.
What?
Damn.
Stop it.
Wow. you hear this guy?
Yes.
Man, you got me over here on a Sunday morning trying defending Paul Pierce. Man, what's wrong with you?
Man, look, we got your topic coming up next, man. And trust, we're good there. We're good. It's actually ironic how this played out, that we have, Paul Pierce and then we have the other guy. So no, we got you, brother. We got you. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Laker Nation, on what Paul Pierce had to say and kind of where you see him among the all-time great pure scorers?
Well, first off, don't ever refer to Kobe as the other guy.
Oh my gosh.
It's the guy.
Never do that.
You know the respect that I have for Kobe, so stop it. But let's carry on.
Don't ever do that, Bruce. Don't ever do that.
Laker Nation, man. Go ahead, man.
Second, man. I ain't gonna lie. He's been cooking the last week and a half. Paul Pierce, man. Because I usually look at, when you hear a person talking, you have that smirk on your face,
mm-hmm.
like Transformer has when he doesn't agree with what I be saying. When he be listening with that smirk. That's how I usually normally be when Paul Pierce opened his mouth. I'm just sitting there listening with that smirk on my face. But what he's saying is true because, pure score is like subjective because everybody has their own
mm-hmm.
definition of what a pure score is.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to argue with you and scream at you when they don't agree with what you got to say. But that's one of them topics where you can't be like, nah, you're full of, what you're saying is full of crap because it's subjective. Cause, because everybody has their own definition of what a pure score is. But if you break down the game of basketball down to a microscopic level, he is one of the best pure scorers in the NBA because we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at the just look at the 08 and the 010 finals against us.
Right.
Like he was giving us problems through the whole series. Like he said, everything he said was true. He's one of the best tough shot makers out there.
Yeah.
He gets knocked based on his placement and everything, based on all-time numbers and rings, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's why he gets always overlooked by other greats.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Dirk Nowitzki. And but you can't have a top 5 pure scorers and not put those two in there.
Okay.
Because they can score on all 3 levels. They can score in every aspect of the court. There's not one defense that can contain them. So that's how I look at it when I think about scores. Is you can't, the way I look at it, you can't be top 5 if you have limitations in your game as far as scoring.
Right.
That's how I define a pure score. Now, that to me, that's a totally different topic, as in best scorers or top 10 top scorers of all time. Because then you got to look at total points and all that.
Yeah, you got to look at
but
bigs.
If you're talking about it,
right.
Yeah. Because if you're talking about pure scorers, there's a lot of pure scorers that haven't. There's a lot of guys that haven't played 20 years or 15 years in the league based on other unforeseen situations, but were deadly scorers that score all over the place. So, so he has a right to talk like he talk, especially if he played number one in the league as long as he has at a high level. Like he has a right to to have his opinion.
Yes. Agreed.
The only thing I disagree with, and I think you broke it down before you took calls, is him over MJ. Because if you break down MJ was just
yes, right.
It's the way he put that ball in the bucket was ridiculous. Like against us, like we forced him damn near out of bounds. I think Coop was the main defender, and we forced him out of bounds. Same thing with Dr. J. Them two got the two best highlighted shots of all time against us.
Yeah.
Like Dr. J has to be up there too, because Magic even said it. We forced him out of bounds, and he still went underneath the basket, came around the other side, and dunked it.
Yeah, no, he
he laid it up.
Because Kareem came to contest. Right. Yeah. And that's when Magic is like,
them like
we were just watching
they did their job.
Magic goes, we were watching him. And I wanted to ask him, can you do it again?
He was like, he started elevating. He just kept elevating. He just kept elevating. He was like, well, we're coming down.
Right. Yeah.
He's still in the air.
Then you got Mike.
And then you got Mike with the switch hands, in the finals. Like they had him contested, and he just switch hands, went to the other side and laid it up. So, but like with Pierce, he doesn't have a lot of flashing moves like that, which is why we get in awe because of that. But he hits fundamental shots. Like he gets down in that post. You know, you fill him off one way, he'll drop step the other way, hit that fadeaway, and bam, it's in there. He gets to the free throw line. Like he'll lower his shoulder, get down in the paint, boom. 2 free throws. That's still 2 points.
Right.
He consistently hit that outside shot, the 3-pointer. Hit a lot of clutch shots in his career. Not a lot of game winners, but a lot of clutch shots to bring his team, team back.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
So he's done a lot of damage, and I can't believe I have to defend this dude, but
well, listen, nobody's putting him in places where he shouldn't be.
Yeah,
and
that's for sure.
The next guy we're going to talk about will take the bad taste out your mouth. Pause. But we're going to go ahead and I'm gonna let you go here. We're going to take a couple more calls and then move on to the next topic, man. I appreciate the call, brother.
Man, as long as nobody don't come in here disrespecting Cole, I'll have this same energy when I call back.
We got it, man.
If somebody calls in, I'm gonna wait till last because somebody called.
Oh, did we lose him?
My bad. Okay, my bad. No, Nino says he wants to speak to. He says that he wants to talk with Laker Nation. So I'm gonna sit back and give you all a couple minutes. Go ahead, Nino. What's going on, brother?
Talk to me.
What's up with all the guys, man? What's up, Laker Nation?
What's going on, Big Nino?
Bruce, I'm gonna say this: if you put me on another last minute debate, Bruce, I'm about to hang up this phone.
I said you got a couple minutes.
It's real simple. It ain't even no debate. It's real simple questions that I got. But y'all do this for MJ. I know it.
Y'all got 2 minutes, Nino. 2 minutes. Go.
I just got one question. they talk about ways to score, right? If MJ said out his mouth that he didn't work on the 3-point shot because he didn't want to settle the defense, and 3-point shot is a for the scoring. And KD can do all the other things and is an efficient 3-point shooter. How doesn't that put him over MJ? That's just a question for anybody. I want to know. I just want to know y'all opinion on this. I hear y'all talking about it.
Because you're looking at the fact that somebody didn't shoot the three at a high volume. That's what you're looking at. And then you're looking at the field goal percentage. That's what you're looking at to make this argument. When he needed to hit that three, he did. And he did that in a consistent basis. He just didn't shoot it a lot because his strength of his game was attacking. That was the main thing that he said out of his mouth as well. That his main aspect of his strength of his game is attacking the basket and not hanging out at the 3-point line. So just because somebody doesn't shoot a high volume of a shot, we kind of take we take the microscope off and say, oh yeah, he's bad just because he didn't do it a lot. No.
I want to throw this out here though, like the nation. I don't disagree with what you're saying. I'm saying y'all use it to be selective. Agree with MJ actually because feel like
30 seconds.
They got some Spurs. He do too much of it. I'm just saying, if MJ say he doesn't do it, it wasn't in his regular game, and KD can do everything else, and that's in his game. How is that? That should put him over for pure scoring. Not better score, just pure what the topic is. That's all.
Man, you need to tune into my Friday's episode when I defended Kevin Durant against all the slander about him not being a top, a top 5 in scoring. I talked about KD because me and my guest
ain't no cuss. All right, we got to cut you short, man. That's 2 minutes, bro. We got to keep the show rolling, Laker Nation. We love you, bro. Because that boy, you about to run with this one. I can already tell.
You about to run with it. Nino, you got me in trouble.
What's up, Nino, man? What's up, man?
I'm just trying to get an understanding. I want this for you too. I want to get an understanding or something. Because listen, this was a say Transformer. Let's be real.
But Nino, the thing is, Nino,
I believe he's talking to me, Mr. Bruce.
No, he said Bruce first.
Oh, okay.
So he said he wanted to get it from me in that pause. Okay. And then I'll let you go.
Whoa!
Stop! I caught it. Pause.
Whoa!
What? Look, man. The point, Nino, that I'm trying to make here. Nino, is very simple, right? At the end of the day, Michael Jordan could shoot the three, but he did. What do you always hear me talk about? How I get mad because Jason Tatum bails out the defense consistently by taking threes, right? He can shoot the three, but he makes it easier on the defense. Michael Jordan didn't want to do that. He could shoot the three. We saw him shoot the three in the freaking most opportune time, right? We saw him do it, but that's not what he wanted to build his game on, because when you fall in love with that, you bail out the defense a lot. So I think that's the difference. He had it in his repertoire. It just wasn't something that he wanted to live on like that. That's all.
I get it, but Nino, okay. So I get it, but that's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. He didn't.
Oh. He didn't.
But he didn't.
But that's he had it. We saw him have it.
Had it? No, we didn't see it. He's never been known as a prolific 3-point shooter. So I want when Nino, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nino is putting all aspects of the game in play. Right. If you wasn't great at this, and even you said you didn't want to, work on it or be proficient at it, you didn't want to rely on it because it would deter you from the other aspects of the game, that's fine. But 3-point shooting is a part of pure scoring. It's a part of basketball. It's in the game.
He had 5 seasons at or above 35% from 3, and the league average was 34.5% back then. So he could shoot it.
So he was average.
Slightly.
Listen, Bruce, we believe you. I know Transformer. I see MJ form, I argue with all my LeBron guys. Like, but we believe he can shoot it.
Well, we saw it, is what I'm trying to say. We saw it.
But we didn't see it consistent.
But the only argument that you have on top of that is even without that 3-pointer as a weapon, he still has 10 scoring titles. So.
And that's what I always point to. But listen, we really got to let you guys go, man. This is a great topic and a great discussion. We appreciate you all so much, but we got to let you go. Thank you for calling, gentlemen.
Yeah. I like man, Kill Switch R6. He had an honorable mention. He wanted to talk about Steph Curry. To me, Steph Curry is a pure shooter. Probably to me the best shooter of all time. When you want to talk shooting, that man got it. If there's no shot the man can't take and make.
I don't think he's the best shooter of all time, but that's, you know what? That's another topic. Write that down.
We can say that.
Write that down.
I'm curious to see who. I'm curious to hear who is.
Right. Chief, good morning. How are you?
Salam, Akisneed, Salam, Bruce. Mate, you get the salute.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming in that way. That warmed my heart, man. Thank you.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get back to my brother Sneed. I think most between the words most equipped score and having a bag. I think it's when you think about the most equipped, a wide range of efficient, reliable ways to score. When I think of the bag, I think of, your dribbling, your flashy, the creative moves that you do to get your shot. So I kind of see a difference in those. Now, even though that damn Paul Pierce is a Celtic, I'm going to have to give it to him on this one.
Okay.
And the reason being is this. If we look at his game before the big three, he was lighting people up.
He was.
So So before he had the step back three, before James Harden, like you said, came up with it, he didn't travel. He had everything in there. But you also have to look, he also had to sacrifice his game for a pure shooter in Ray Allen. Then KG had to get the ball. Then you had the other guy. So I think he has a legitimate point, but I think he also had to make those sacrifices for the betterment of the team.
Yeah. No disagreement. I see it.
Yeah.
I like the
That's kind of where
I was expecting to push back. Not this time, Chief.
I didn't have anything.
Not this time, Chief. No, I agree, though. I agree.
Yeah, that's about it. Now, the way he says stuff, it might rubs a lot of people wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of like, he's the crazy guy. He's crazy like a fox.
Yes.
Yeah. So he says something, and then you have to kind of think and pause. Well, he did do this. He did do that.
Right.
And he did it all, but you got to really think of what he say and then go back and look at the action.
Yeah. No. I agree, Chief. Paul Pierce is a Me Too guy. Like, whoa, Me Too.
What about me?
Yeah. Hold up. Did you forget? Like, Me Too.
Yeah. No, that's a great point.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah. So I think that game sacrifice. I guess if I didn't have to sacrifice my game, you could probably see more of what I did. And like you said, like Snead said, you have to come back and look at some of those old games prior to him, prior to the big three. But
just type regular.
Okay, but, you too, huh? Okay.
Yeah, but if you really look at it, though, I'd rather sacrifice my scoring to win a title.
Yes. No doubt.
Man, I apologize, Chief, man. We trying to read a comment. Gabe, but, I'm going to just say it. Gabe Moore, but we appreciate the comment. But please help us out. That is just way too much going on. If you could type that regularly, I'm trying to get where you're going. I think we got the first part. I don't want to excel at it. You stand behind the 3-point line and you wait for teammates to the ball,
get the ball to you.
To you. Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
My game is driving, posting up, and creating.
Okay.
And then
God dang it, man. Where did you go to school? I'm not gonna roast you, bro. Let me stop.
No, please don't.
I'm not. Love you, Gabe, man. Appreciate the comment.
I lost some brain cells trying to.
Yeah, that was a rough one, Chief.
I have to go back to cryptography school to get that.
I thought it was Cam Newton for a second. Like, is this Cam Newton? Because God dang it, man.
I had to get the decoder ring on that. I'm like, oh, okay. So young folks who don't know what it is, you have to get the ring and match the letters and the numbers to try to get everything right.
That's old school right there, Chief.
Need an old key, a key. He needs the match.
Yes,
he needs the key.
That's old school, Chief. Wow.
What is this? What is this?
Oh, man.
All right, brothers, I'm going to let y'all get to that next topic, but I'm going to give you a little precursor on it.
Yes, what you got?
See, the Mamba was also in the most equipped and the bag, but y'all ain't ready for that.
Man, listen.
They ain't. They ain't.
All right, Chief. Thank you for the call, man. Can't wait to get to this one. Thank you.
Did that.
All right, y'all.
And still
feedback on this Paul Pierce topic. Didn't expect it to be that lively, but thank you for that, man. We are definitely enjoying talking with you all this morning. I didn't think it was gonna.
Raise your expectations. Now, when we mention Celtics and Lakers, and if you mention one word of LBJ, then come on, everybody's coming.
I think it's about to. Go off then.
Oh, it's about to go up.
Yeah, we about to get to that guy.